Okay, so when you think about those uh, really iconic images, the ones that just scream New York City, what comes to mind?
Well, for a lot of people, it's probably the streets, the energy, maybe the yellow cabs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's always that skyline. It's just incredible, this dramatic shape. And you realize every single building has a story, doesn't it?
It really does. From the oldest little structures to the giant new towers. And actually, for anyone listening who's learning English, exploring this is such a great way in.
How so?
Well, you're connecting language learning with something really visual, really rich in history and culture. Plus, you get to hear it all discussed in clear, standard English.
That's a great point. We're basically unlocking the stories hidden in the buildings.
Precisely. The architecture is like a physical record of the city's journey, its ambitions, its innovations, even its hard times.
So this deep dive is kind of a shortcut then to
Mhm.
understanding that character through the buildings.
I think so, yeah. We'll pull out the key moments, the big ideas you see reflected in the stone and steel.
All right, let's do it. We should probably start right at the beginning, the Dutch settlement,
Makes sense?
then maybe the skyscraper race,
Right.
that whole period, and explore the different styles you see all mixed together.
Mm-hmm. And we have to touch on the impact of 9/11.
Absolutely. And then maybe finish up with where things are heading now, the new developments.
Sounds like a plan. Ready to see what the silhouette tells us.
Let's go.
Okay, so, yeah, back to the very beginning. Early 1600s, the Dutch arrive, set up New Amsterdam.
Which was tiny, right? Compared to now.
Oh, incredibly modest. Just a trading post, really. Think simple wooden houses, maybe a fort for protection. Nothing like the towers we see today.
Hard to even picture it.
But what's interesting is some of those original paths, those little lanes, they actually formed the basis for streets we still use. Wall Street, for instance, gets its name from, well, a wall they built back then.
Huh. No way. So even a modern city has these deep roots.
Exactly, it's layered.
And then, okay, 1664, the British take over. New Amsterdam becomes New York.
Right. And the city starts to grow, starts to develop more of an identity over the next couple of centuries.
But the buildings are still pretty basic for a long time. Low-rise, practical stuff.
Pretty much. Timber, brick, functional. You wouldn't really look at it and think, this place is destined for massive vertical growth. Not yet, anyway.
So what changed? What lit the fuse for building upwards?
Well, the big shift comes with the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution. A few key things happen all around the same time.
Mhm.
First, land value in Manhattan starts to shoot up. Suddenly, building out isn't as economical as building up.
Ah, the money angle. Makes sense.
Then you get crucial inventions. The elevator specifically, a safe elevator, thanks to Elisha Otis, makes taller buildings actually usable for people day to day.
Right, can't have people walking up 20 flights of stairs.
Exactly. And really importantly, steel production becomes much more efficient and cheaper. So now you have a material strong enough to support these taller structures.
So land value, elevators, and steel. That's the magic combination.
That's pretty much it. It created the perfect storm, you could say, for vertical ambition. Really set the stage.
And that leads us straight into the skyscraper race, right?
Yeah.
Late 1800s, early 1900s. Sounds intense.
It really was like a competition almost. Architects, developers, companies, everyone wanted to push higher.
Was there an early building that really symbolized this shift?
I'd say the Flatiron Building is a fantastic example, finished in 1902.
Oh yeah, the triangular one. It's very distinctive.
Totally unique. Its shape comes from that funny intersection of Broadway and Fifth Avenue. People apparently worried it would blow over in the wind.
Seriously.
Yeah, but it stood firm. And it really looked like nothing else at the time. Like the prow of a ship sailing up the avenue, it became a symbol of that new kind of thinking, that boldness.
Still turns heads today. And then, after that, we get into the Art Deco era. That style feels so New York.
Oh, absolutely. The sleek lines, the geometric patterns, that sort of glamorous modern feel. It left a huge mark.
And the poster child for Art Deco has to be the Chrysler Building, doesn't it?
Many would say so, yes. Completed in 1930, it's often called one of the most beautiful skyscrapers ever built, that stainless steel crown.
With the sunburst pattern. It just glows at night.
It really does. William Van Allen designed it as this kind of monument for Walter Chrysler, the car guy.
Ah, right. So there are car elements in the design.
Yeah, like stylized radiator caps and eagle hood ornaments way up high. It's all about speed, modernity, industry. And for a very short time, maybe about 11 months, it was the tallest building in the world.
A brief, stylish reign.
Very brief. Because just a year later, 1931, along comes the big one.
The Empire State Building.
The Empire State Building. 102 stories, just redefined tall.
And built so fast, especially considering it was during the Great Depression.
That's what's incredible. Despite the tough economic times, it rose up and became this instant, enduring symbol. Hope, resilience, ambition. It captured the imagination. That mooring mast at the top.
Which was meant for airships, right? Zeppelins?
That was the idea. Didn't really work out that way, but it added to the mystique. It's just remained this quintessential New York icon.
It really has. But you know, one of the things I love about walking around New York is that it's not just about the super famous tall buildings.
Exactly.
You turn a corner and suddenly you're looking at architecture from a completely different time period. It's like the city wears its history on its sleeve.
That's a great way to put it. It's a very visible timeline. And for you, listening and learning English, noticing these differences, the materials, the shapes, the details can be a really cool way to connect.
Yeah, like vocabulary and context almost.
Definitely. I mean, think about Greenwich Village.
Okay.
You wander those streets, see the low-rise brick townhouses, the wrought iron fences, maybe even some old gas lamps still there.
It feels completely different, like stepping back a century or more.
It does. It connects you to that 19th century city, much smaller scale, more human. You can almost picture life back then.
And then you go up down to Harlem, maybe? Different vibe again.
Right. Those grand brownstones, the big, beautiful churches. That architecture tells a powerful story about African-American history, culture, community building in that neighborhood. Different scale, different styles, different narrative.
It shows how diverse the city's growth has been.
Absolutely. And even some of the early skyscrapers mix things up. Take the Woolworth Building.
Ah, the Cathedral of Commerce. Completed way back in 1913, wasn't it?
That's the one. It's got this amazing, ornate, Gothic detailing, like actual gargoyles high up there.
Wow.
But inside, it had the latest modern engineering, super fast elevators for the time. It's this fascinating blend of looking back stylistically and looking forward technologically.
That juxtaposition is interesting. And for learners, noticing words like Gothic, gargoyle, ornate in relation to that building really helps cement them.
For sure. Or think about Grand Central Terminal.
Oh, just walking into the main concourse. It's breathtaking.
It really feels like a temple to transit, doesn't it? All that Beaux-Arts grandeur, huge space.
And isn't there that funny story about the ceiling? The stars.
Yes. The beautiful starry sky ceiling is actually painted backward, a mistake they just left.
I love that. It gives it character.
It does. It shows how these buildings become more than just structures. They're like cultural artifacts, holding stories, memories. Exploring the terms for these styles, Beaux-Arts, Art Deco, Gothic is a fantastic vocabulary builder.
Now, we have to acknowledge a really difficult chapter. September 11, 2001.
Yes.
A profound moment.
The destruction of the World Trade Center's Twin Towers obviously changed the skyline dramatically, but the impact was so much deeper than that.
Absolutely devastating. Emotionally, physically. For a long time, that absence, that void in the skyline was incredibly powerful and painful.
Rebuilding there must have been such a complex process.
Immense. Logistically, but also emotionally. How do you commemorate? How do you rebuild? How do you move forward? Big questions.
And what eventually rose was One World Trade Center, completed in 2014.
Right. And it's packed with symbolism.
The height, especially, 1,776 feet. Exactly. Directly referencing 1776, the year of American independence. It's meant as a statement of resilience, looking forward.
The design itself, too, that mirrored surface reflecting the sky, the strong base.
Yeah, the architect, David Childs, was trying to balance that need for security, which was obviously paramount after 9/11, with creating something hopeful, something symbolic.
And right next to it, where the original towers stood, you have the 9/11 memorial pools.
Which are incredibly moving. That image of water just constantly flowing down into that abyss.
Representing the loss.
Exactly. And surrounded by the names of everyone who died, it's a space designed for quiet reflection, remembrance, peace. The language used there, the inscriptions, that's also a very poignant way for English learners to connect with the gravity of that event.
A transformation from tragedy to remembrance.
Hopefully, yes. A space for healing, ultimately.
But New York being New York, it doesn't stand still, does it? The evolution continues.
Constantly. Just look over at the west side at Hudson Yards.
Right, that massive new development.
It's the largest private real estate development in U.S. history, apparently. Built right over the old rail yards. It's like a whole new neighborhood just appeared.
Ultra-modern towers, parks up high, and that vessel structure.
Ah, yes, the vessel. Very distinctive, kind of controversial too. That giant climbable sculpture made of interconnected staircases.
Definitely gets people talking.
Yeah.
And listening to descriptions of these places introduces new vocabulary too, right? Things like mixed-use development, public art installation.
For sure, it reflects current architectural and urban planning language.
And another project I find fascinating is the High Line.
Oh, the High Line is brilliant. Taking that old, abandoned, elevated freight rail line.
And turning it into a park.
Exactly. A linear park that winds through the buildings. It gives you these amazing, unique views of the city, blending nature and architecture. It's such a clever piece of urban renewal.
A great example of reinventing existing structures.
Totally. And the language around that repurposing, urban renewal, green space often comes up in these discussions.
And speaking of green, there seems to be a bigger focus on sustainability now in the new buildings. It's not just about height anymore.
That's a really important shift, yes. You're seeing much more emphasis on things like green roofs, installing solar panels, using smart glass that adjusts to sunlight.
Building smarter, essentially.
Right. Trying to minimize the environmental impact, thinking about the future, it's a crucial evolution. And understanding terms like sustainable architecture, LADI certification, that's becoming more important too.
So wrapping this up, thinking about everything we've touched on, it's clear that New York's architecture isn't just scenery. It's fundamental to the city's identity.
It really is. It's a character in the story. And it tells that story visually, a story of constant change, of the diverse people who shape the city, of relentless innovation.
And for anyone learning English, paying attention to that visual story can add another layer to their understanding, can it?
Definitely. It connects language to culture to history in a very tangible way.
You see everything from, old Brooklyn brownstones to these brand new super modern towers. It's all part of the narrative.
Exactly. There's that great quote that New York never looks finished.
I like that. It really captures the feeling of the place, doesn't it? That constant energy, the striving, the rebuilding, always becoming something new.
It does. It reflects the aspirations of the people who live there, always reaching.
So for you, our listener, especially if you're on that English learning journey, we hope this deep dive has given you some new perspectives.
Yeah, maybe next time you see a picture of the skyline, or even better, if you get to walk those streets yourself, you'll look up, as we said. Notice the details.
Think about the stories embedded in the buildings, the Gothic details, the Art Deco flourishes, the sustainable features.
It's another pathway, really, another interesting visual way to engage with the language and the culture of the English-speaking world. Keep exploring.